Long ago, in a land of rolling hills and open skies, Isaac and Rebekah were blessed with twin sons, Esau and Jacob. Though they shared the same birthday, the brothers could not have been more different, each carving out his own unique path in life. Esau, the firstborn, was rugged and strong, with a wild spirit that drew him to the open fields and forests. He loved the thrill of the hunt, and his father Isaac admired his boldness and skill. Jacob, on the other hand, was quieter and more thoughtful. He preferred the comfort of home, spending time with his mother Rebekah, learning, listening, and reflecting. Rebekah cherished Jacob's gentle nature and clever mind. This favoritism within the family created a subtle tension, a quiet rivalry that simmered beneath the surface. Each parent's love seemed to pull the brothers in different directions, setting the stage for trouble. Esau lived for the moment, strong, impulsive, and quick to act. Jacob, by contrast, was patient and clever, always thinking ahead and watching for opportunity. Jacob often watched as Esau received their father's admiration, feeling a longing deep inside. He dreamed of one day having the honor and blessing reserved for the firstborn. In this family, love was divided, and so were their futures. The brothers grew up side by side, yet their hearts drifted further apart with each passing year. Esau was the outdoorsman, thriving in the wild, while Jacob was the thinker, always planning and waiting for the right moment. The special blessing for the firstborn meant everything in their world. It was a symbol of honor, inheritance, and destiny. Jacob's desire for it grew stronger with each day. So Jacob waited, quietly and patiently, always watching, always hoping for his chance to claim what he believed should be his. The differences between the brothers would soon boil over, leading to a conflict that would change their lives forever and test the bonds of family. And so, with hearts full of hope, envy, and ambition, the story of Esau and Jacob truly begins. In Isaac's time, a father's blessing was more than a simple gesture. It was a powerful promise for the future, carrying the weight of leadership, land, and God's favor. This blessing was a sacred tradition, passed down from generation to generation, and it shaped the destiny of entire families. This special blessing was meant for the firstborn son, Esau, who had grown up knowing that one day he would inherit not just his father's possessions, but also his role as the family's leader and spiritual guide. Isaac, now old and nearly blind, felt the weight of his years and decided it was finally time to pass on this blessing before it was too late. He called Esau to his side and asked him to go out into the wild, hunt game, and prepare his favorite meal, a meal that would mark this important occasion. The blessing was more than words. It was a legacy, a spiritual inheritance that could never be taken back or given lightly. Once spoken, it was binding and unchangeable. Esau eagerly set out, his heart full of anticipation, knowing this was his birthright and the moment he had waited for his entire life. Isaac wanted to celebrate this moment with a feast, a tradition that brought the family together to witness the passing of the torch. Everyone in the family knew how important this blessing was. It was a moment filled with hope, expectation, and even a little anxiety. The stage was set for a pivotal moment, one that would be remembered for generations to come. Isaac's decision would shape not only the future of his sons, but the fate of their descendants as well. But not everyone was ready to accept this outcome. Tension simmered beneath the surface, as others watched and waited. As Esau left to hunt, another plan was already forming in the shadows, one that would change everything. The blessing was about to become the center of a family storm, setting in motion events that no one could have foreseen. Rebekah overheard Isaac's plan as she moved quietly near the tent, her heart pounding with anticipation. She realized that her husband intended to give the family blessing to Esau, the eldest son, just as tradition demanded. But Rebekah was determined that Jacob, her younger and favored son, should receive the blessing instead. She could not let this moment slip away. She remembered God's promise from years before, that the older would serve the younger. This memory gave her courage and a sense of purpose. Without wasting a moment, Rebekah quickly found Jacob and told him everything she'd heard. Her voice was urgent, her eyes filled with resolve. "We can't let Esau get the blessing," she insisted, her tone leaving no room for doubt. She was ready to take bold action. Rebekah devised a daring plan. Jacob would disguise himself as Esau and go to Isaac pretending to be his brother. It was a risky scheme, but she believed it was the only way. Jacob hesitated, his face clouded with worry. He was afraid of being discovered and the consequences that might follow. "What if father touches me? He'll know I'm not Esau," Jacob protested, pointing out the obvious differences between him and his brother. Rebekah reassured him. "Let any curse fall on me. Just do as I say." She was willing to bear the risk herself, determined to protect Jacob's future. She sent Jacob to fetch 2 young goats from the flock, which she would use to prepare Isaac's favorite meal and complete the disguise. Rebekah was willing to risk everything for her favorite son, trusting that her actions would fulfill the promise she believed in so deeply. Jacob obeyed, bringing the goats to his mother, his mind racing with fear and hope as he wondered what would happen next. The deception was set in motion. Rebekah worked quickly, preparing the food and disguises, her hands steady despite the tension in the air. The fate of the family now hung on a risky trick as mother and son prepared to change the course of their lives forever. Rebekah cooked the goats into Isaac's favorite meal. She wrapped Jacob's arms and neck in goat skins to mimic Esau's hairiness. Jacob put on Esau's clothes, smelling of the wild fields. The disguise was complete. Jacob looked, felt, and smelled like Esau. Rebekah handed Jacob the food and bread. Jacob's heart pounded as he prepared to deceive his father. Every detail had to be perfect. With one last look at his mother, Jacob entered Isaac's tent. The moment of truth had arrived. The family's future would be decided in the next few minutes. Jacob stepped forward, ready to play his part. Jacob greeted Isaac, pretending to be Esau. Isaac, suspicious, asked how the hunt was so quick. Jacob lied, "God gave me success." Isaac asked to touch him. The goatskins convinced him. The smell of Esau's clothes sealed the deception. Isaac ate the meal and called Jacob closer. With a kiss, Isaac gave Jacob the blessing meant for Esau. He prayed Jacob would be master over his brother and blessed with abundance. The blessing was spoken, irrevocable and powerful. Jacob had succeeded. The trick was complete. The precious gift had been stolen. Jacob left, carrying a future that was never meant to be his. The consequences would be swift. The family's fate was forever changed. Esau returned, prepared the meal and brought it to Isaac. Isaac trembled in shock. He'd already given the blessing. Esau cried out in anguish, realizing his brother had deceived him. The blessing was gone and could not be taken back. Esau's heartbreak turned to hatred for Jacob. He vowed revenge, planning to kill his brother after Isaac's death. The family was shattered by deception and anger. Rebekah, terrified, urged Jacob to flee for his life. Jacob left home carrying the stolen blessing and leaving behind a broken family. The cost of the trick was everything they once held dear. 2 brothers, now enemies, went their separate ways. The story of Jacob and Esau became a lesson for generations to come.